Wood's certainly back in fashion in a way that we haven't seen for many decades, and in fact many would argue that it's here to stay in a new light, and we're seeing wood used in a much more exciting and innovative way than we have done in the past. American tulip wood is one of the most prolific hardwoods in North America. Here, the culmination of this project is showing this particular wood species being used structurally, being treated to be used outside, and also aesthetically, because it has, in terms of the look, I think certainly the wow factor. The London Design Festival are very aware of the resurgence in wood, both from a fashion but also for its green credentials, and wanted to team up and do a wood project. And we were teamed up with David Adjaye, who we've admired from a distance from a long time as a real trend-setting, creative designer, based here in the UK but working around the world.
Well, it's fantastic for it to be at the London Design Festival. One, because we're prototyping a new building material that's never been used outside, really, as a kind of external construction material. And we're kind of looking at making a pavilion which is about kind of uplifting, really. And that for me is, half the agenda of what what design is about, actually elevating people with the things we make. Right from the start, what I wanted to do was to attempt to use a material, and to not just use it in terms of its surface effect, but to use a material to be both the construction, the post and beam, the sort of bones of the building, the lining of the walls, the atmosphere, and even the kind of decoration, the ornament of the building. And I kind of wanted to find something to kind of work with that would kind of allow me to kind of explore all these things as one seamless construction. I'm very interested in my own work, in the way in which we receive and perceive light. How light hits the eye, how it kind of affects the emotions. So I wanted to really make a chamber for light. This is really a light chamber. And it's really a kind of a room. Because it's a freestanding object to go in a space, I wanted to make it not something that was sort of had any 90-degree angles to it, but something which was more like a kind of full stop, a sort of a form, a cylindrical form, which could orientate itself to any view, but also be a full stop in a landscape. So it was conceived as a kind of a cylindrical chamber that would sort of modulate light around it through this material. For me, there is no difference between architecture and art. For me, the thing has to work. It has to work practically, and it has to also work emotionally, intellectually, and that's what I strive to do in my work.
You're not quite sure whether you're in a forest or when you're in a building. And I think it feels like I'm in a forest.
It's really cool, yeah. It's like being inside a big eye.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I like the sort of replication of detail.
As soon as I walked in, I just imagined what it would be like to actually move in and around the space.
It's nice to be able to touch. I do like it a lot. The joints are lovely.
I really liked it inside.
It's a beautiful artistry and craftsmanship.
Yeah, it does look quite nice. Unusual, never seen it before.
I think it's fantastic.
I think it's architecture, and it's a mixture of design and art and architecture are kind of blending into one these days.
It looks like an abstract building, so it's sort of hovering, isn't it, between the two?
I think it's art.
It's a nice place to be in.
Quite uplifted. Yeah, it's a nice elevation of spirit.
It's creative because you can interpret it in different ways.
Brilliant, really, really interesting, yeah.
It's quite uplifting and it's a surprising experience to come across.
I always thought that Tulipwood had potential, but to actually be able to achieve it in the way we have is, I think it's performed better than even I could have expected.
It's been an incredible journey, an incredibly liberating journey for me, because it's been about exploring something that I'm incredibly passionate about and having a team who've been completely behind delivering it, and that's been very special.